Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Jordan Young, and this is another Boston Certified Hood Classic. We've got some exciting sneaker news stories to catch up on in today's episode, including a couple of Travis Scott Jumpman Jack colorways. Footlocker has been bought up by Dick's Sporting Goods. We've had our first look at the off-white Alaskas, and yeah, they're the Euro pair. And we've had some really good looks at the AE2, but before we get into the sneaker news stories, let's recap this week's biggest sneaker releases. It was a pretty hectic week of releases. There were a couple of bangers, and I myself scooped up a couple of pretty exciting sneakers. Starting off with the Andrew Reynolds New Balance 933s. This is such a clean shoe in hand. It's got the whole New Balance runner upper. It's got the skate shoe bottom. They're loaded with technology. The materials are good. I'm going to be bringing you guys my thoughts on these very, very shortly in a review. But yeah, very cool model for the golf fans out there. And if you guys haven't yet checked out my golfing channel, my second channel, be sure to go over there and subscribe. I did my review on these. These are the Air Jordan Air Revs, which is a golf shoe that looks like a basketball shoe with a cross body bag on them. These things are also loaded with technology, but I was pretty scathing in my reviews. I wore these for golf and man, they absolutely knacked my feet. And now that I've worn them for a round and pretty much ruined them, I can't even return them. So I am stuck with these moon boot golf shoes. We also had the Air Jordan 3 Korea 2.0s, which dropped today, which to my surprise actually sat around on the Nike sneakers app for some time. I actually slept on the release. I jumped on the app about, I don't know, 7 minutes past 8. And by the time I jumped on the app, they were still there sitting in my size. So I managed to come up on these with ease. We also had the Travis Scott Zoom Field Jacks, which I'm basically going to break out for you guys live right now and give you my immediate impressions. Here we go. This is my first time looking at these. These were an easy cop. I actually doubled up on this particular pair. And I don't know if you know the shoe isn't important or hype when the retailer ships them to you in a bag, not a box. But yeah, those have come straight out of the bag. This was a raffle win from Sides. Got the brown paper. This is my first look. All right, here they are. The Zoom Field Jacks. Now my first impression, is that the colorway is fire. I mean, the whole blue and the brown goes nice. I'm interested in these because I'm wondering whether or not these are going to golf or not. This whole outsole pattern has been interesting to me. I'm not sure whether or not they will, but I'm going to give them a go for golf. So I will be bringing you guys my absolute review on these probably tomorrow, if not Monday. But yeah, it's a cool shoe. Also had the Nike Hyper Rice $900 warm-up stroke recovery boots, the $900 moon boots. These have actually, from what I can see here, pretty much sold out on the Nike.com website in the USA. Also had the Nike SB P-Rod 1 return as well, which is pretty exciting for OG fans of P-Rod or OG fans of this particular shoe. You guys over there in the USA had exclusive access go out for the white cement 4s, which are set to come out this upcoming week. And we are here in the UK starting to see some retailers offer up some early access type activations, in-store first come first serve. So yeah, if you need to get your hands on these early, there are some opportunities out there. But if you can wait it out, these things are dropping next week, man, May the 24th. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode when we preview this week's biggest upcoming sneaker releases. Right, so let's get into the news, and I want to start off by saying I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. You guys might remember a video I made maybe a couple of weeks ago now talking about how the Travis Scott hype seems to have waned or fallen off because shoes like the Field Jacks brown colorway weren't selling out. They're still sitting around in the lower sizes. Shoes like the Jumpman Jack in the bright cactus colorway were sitting around as well in certain retail stores in certain parts of the world. And so because these Travis Scott sneakers haven't been selling out and reselling like shoes of the past, I was interpreting that as maybe the Travis Scott effect has waned a little bit, or maybe his designs just haven't been that popularly received. And whilst I still think there is a modicum of truth in that take, it can't be denied that the Travis effect is still in effect because of this whole Barcelona collaboration they've done on this jersey. Bro, these jerseys have been reselling in the aftermarket for like $2,000, and it's not just like a one-off sale by some rich kid with the absolute FOMO from Nam. No, there are multiple sales recorded for this jersey on StockX, and these prices are crazy. So what's going on here? Is this the Travis effect still in effect, or is this Travis aligning himself with another popular trend that is gaining a lot of momentum right now? And I think it's pretty much the latter. Yes, Travis Scott still has a huge amount of influence. Yes, he's still popular with the youth and the youngsters, but right now football is massive. Think about the whole boots only summer trends that we've got going on right now, where kids are literally out there risking injury wearing football cleats on concrete. I think what's going on here is Travis has pretty much aligned himself with something that's really popular right now, and the two coming together have created this explosion of hype. That explains the prices on these jerseys. That's not to say that my take wasn't in some sense wrong, but yeah, this phenomenon is pretty crazy right now, and I only see it continuing on as we approach the Football World Cup next year. Dick's Sporting Goods has officially acquired Footlocker for $2.5 billion. And this new acquisition positions Dick's Sporting Goods as the premier sports or athletic retailer in the world, totaling over $21 billion in revenue in the fiscal year 2024. So the acquisition of Footlocker also includes Champs, Kids Foot Locker, Atmos, and WSS. So Dick's, man, these guys are like the big players in the game right now. Right, let's talk about some new shoes, some updates, all of that type of good stuff. We had our first look this past week at the OG Chase B and Jumpman Jack collaboration set to go down. So this is Travis Scott's DJ. It's his first product with the Jumpman brand. He's teaming up on the Jumpman Jack, and yeah, he shared a picture on Instagram showing I guess like a light tan or a bone slash black slash glow in the dark gum sole version of the Jumpman Jacks, which look pretty dope. I mean, the colorway works really well. The whole glow in the dark outsole only further reinforces the Air Yeezy comparisons. I'm not sure if the outsole is actually glow in the dark or if it's just this translucent illusion green colorway, but yeah, these look fire. No specific release date information. We've seen a couple of versions of the worksout Nike Air Max 95, which are supposed to be really, really limited. There's a green colorway, and then there's another darker colorway out there doing the rounds. And these have had people divided a little bit because they feature the swoosh on the side, which for an Air Max 95 just doesn't seem to like quite make sense there. You know, the whole thing about the Air Max 95 is the whole gradient line, but yeah, the swoosh is there. These look kind of sweet in terms of the materials. If you don't know who worksout is, they're an outfit coming out of South Korea. And this particular pair in the green is going to be, like I said before, very hard to get because they're limited to something like 3K pairs. We've seen some official images of the Little Yachty Air Force One Lucky Green, and this past week he did something that I thought was kind of cool. He went out into the streets of New York and pretty much gave pairs of these out to members of the public for them to rock and be photographed in order to make a sort of like magazine or a lookbook type thing. And some of the fits that these people are rocking with these shoes are really cool, man. I mean, this whole fishmonger scene looks dope. I feel like this is a strong collaboration. They're very bold, they're very bright, they're very out there. They definitely dial a little bit more into that whole Bapester look, which we know has served as inspiration for Yachty in the past. Retail price point, $130. May the 22nd is the release date. Casio G-Shock and Crocs are teaming up for a glow-in-the-dark Echo Wave with an actual G-Shock watch that attaches to the shoe. I mean, people are gonna start like checking the time like that now. And the whole package is dropping on May the 27th for $200. So I guess that's not too unreasonable. You get the Crocs, you get the watch, they go together, and when you get sick of having the watch on the wrist, you can chuck it down on the clogs. I mean, bro, far out, fair enough. All right, so apparently New Balance is bringing back the protection pack. You guys remember the 2002 Rs that were partly responsible for birthing the whole New Balance wave in the current epoch. You know, not like traditionally, I'm not trying to like say you DMV guys or you guys that have been on New Balance since back in the day haven't been on New Balance like that, but you know what I mean. When these shoes dropped, they were largely responsible for making New Balance cool, and these things are coming back. And I actually had the gray pair and yeah, fire pair. I actually had the sea salt pair as well, which I completely ran into the ground. What I will say about the 2002 era is that it is a solid shoe for sure, just for everyday wear and comfortability. Is it cool to see these come back? Are you guys ready for a retro? Apparently they're coming back on June the 4th just in Europe, with the US release date or re-release date set to be confirmed, but I'll keep you guys updated. We've had our first official look at the Jordan 3 Pure Moneys. These images were from a Jordan brand product photography lookbook type thing. We can see them on foot with some tracksuit action here, and the shoes themselves, they look clean, man. This is one of those shoes that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. It's set for release on July the 5th. You guys remember when these last came out, right around that 07 period, when the Black Cats and these and Do the Right Things, that kind of era. Very legendary shoe, very clean, but I wonder if these might end up sitting just because of how hectic the release calendar is and how much more selective people are being now with their purchasing. Right, you guys remember Avavav, the collaborator that worked together with Adidas on those finger shoes? You guys remember those shoes that had the gloves? They're back again with 2 more shoes with Adidas. They've basically converted the superstar into some oversized looking clown shoes, and then they've also got another shoe that has a Balenciaga clown-esque fashion MF aesthetic about them. These ones almost look a little bit like those Louis Vuitton shoes from a couple of years ago that were going viral because of the crazy sole in them, or the, you know, send you to the podiatrist type footbeds. I don't know, man. These things are crazy as, and as much as these might be aesthetically egregious to the likes of you and me, bro, there is a market for these types of shoes. The oversized look is in, we know that, thanks to Balenciaga. Adidas are really dialing into that fashion MF market right now. So as crazy as these are and as unappetizing as these are to you and to me, bro, there are a lot of people out there that will absolutely be loving these. A pair of the Power Lacing mags from 2016 is up for auction, and man, it's got the signatures on there. It's got the signatures of all the people that you want and need on the box. Tinker Hatfield, the designer of the mags, Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown, and of course, Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox. What an awesome come up this would be. Bidding is starting at 50K. I would be interested to see what these would fetch. Pairs of the shoes just by themselves alone have been going for north of 100K over the past few years. So to have these with the signed box, man, that's crazy. JJ Jound is back. One of my favorites collaborators is back. He's working again on the gel Kayano 14. This is one of the shoes that helped launch the popularity of the Kayano 14 a couple of years ago when Jound jumped on these, and he's jumping on them again, and in true Jound fashion, he's doing it in a way that has you wondering, what did he actually do to the shoe? These could be a generic GR shoe for sure. They've just got some slight elevated touches about them. They have this ice blue hue to them. No specific release date information that I can see here available. Look, it's a clean shoe. It's a clean model. These are comfortable. The trend, I feel, with these mesh runners is starting to maybe fizzle out a little bit or run its course. We're kind of getting ready to move on to the next thing, but yeah, these will still nonetheless be popular for sure. Aimé Leon Dore are back with New Balance again, and this is a collaboration that you might not have necessarily seen coming because, yeah, these shoes are kind of random. These are a little bit different. These are some absolute aqua shoes or some boat shoes or some shoes you might be given if you decided to take kayaking lessons. I'm not sure, man. These look like they would be great for outdoor in the summer, maybe beach trip to the seaside or something like that. But yeah, given where like sneakers and fashion are going right now, you know, you've got people going down this road, you've got people going down that road, you've got people going down this road, like it's almost good to see a little bit of diversification going on. Right, let's talk about the AE2 because we've seen a couple of new colorways announced and we've seen some really good images. We've seen a lucid pink colorway reveal and then a total orange colorway as well. Now the jury is still out for me whether or not I think this is a fire shoe. Personally, I think the AE1 is a little bit nicer aesthetically. These do still look like they would be great to hoop in. Like if I was hooping, I'd be keen to get a pair of these for sure. But in terms of like the crossover to casual wear, I don't know if these make as successful a transition as the first ones. But I guess in this day and age, man, it really comes down to how you style the shoes. Me personally, I don't have really any style to speak of. I like to let the shoes do the talking. And I guess to a certain extent, this colorway, these shoes are talking in this colorway. But yeah, I'm not completely sold on the AE2. Can't really pick out any major criticisms about it, but I'm just not feeling it as much as the first ones. What about you guys? Right, so we're hearing that the Jordan 1 High shattered backboards, one of the most anticipated Jordan 1 High releases of the year, has been postponed to August. I don't think anybody's going to be mad at that, to be honest. With how hectic the release calendar is, with how many shoes are coming out left, right, and center, with people just stockpiling new releases at this point, myself included, it's kind of like cool that these are going to be pushed off a little bit further on, because it means we've got a little bit of time to let the wallets breathe. Right, a couple of exciting sneaker announcements. This one is crazy, although I'm sure a lot of you guys out there seen this one coming with the vault being open. The Air Jordan 5 Tokyo is expected to return this year. This is the latest rumor that I'm hearing. Fall, winter time is the rumor. If you guys know about this shoe, you'll know it is legendary among collectors. They came out to celebrate the opening of Jordan Brand's Tokyo store, I think back in 2011. Very limited, you could only get them like in store on the day or something like that. Pairs have been going for crazy money over the years. It's a real grail for a lot of collectors, and because of how old they are, a lot of pairs of these are going to be like crumbling at this point. So if you were an Air Jordan 5 collector, if you're an OG head, you're going to be incredibly excited about the prospect of being able to come up on the Tokyo 5s for retail later on this year. That is crazy news. Also had our first look at the off-white Air Jordan 1 High Alaska, and bro, I'm not sure how serious to take these first looks, because are these first looks of the Alaskas, or are these old looks of a DS pair of Euros? What this will confirm though, if it is true, and it's been posted by Just Fresh Kicks, who, you know, generally provides the solid information, this pair, to be fair, does look pretty new, pretty crisp, pretty clean, pretty ripe for ruination. We can at least now confirm that, yeah, it's basically just a retro of the Euro pair. Now, there might be some subtle differences that I'm not hip to here, but you can see the icy blue collar, you can see the off-white touches. These are pretty much bang on the Euro pair. Now, this is interesting, because does this mean that we might get a retro of these at some point? I mean, this continues on the debate about bringing back sneakers from the past that a lot of purists, a lot of collectors would rather just have stay in the vault, because it keeps the collectability and the rarity of items like these up there more, as well as preserves the value. So yeah, I'm not sure where you guys stand on that. I don't want to resurrect that debate here right now, but yeah, according to these images, according to this report, we're getting the Euros in a retro later on this year. Panda colorway of the Jumpman Jacks has been reported to release at some point, although I'm not sure whether or not these have been reported to release, or they were just spotted on Travis's feet, and then from there we're now expecting a release. But yeah, you can see either a mock-up here or a representation of the shoes on feet in these images. Bro, they look clean, man. I'm telling you, I'm into the Jumpman Jacks now after rubbishing them. Now I've got a pair in hand. I'm not as mad at them as I was before. What do you guys think of this Panda colorway? You guys feeling this colorway? I think they're fire. Radio, to wrap things up for the episode, let's talk about some of this week's most important, interesting, upcoming sneaker releases. May the 21st, the Kobe 9 Elite Protro What The are dropping. You also have on May the 22nd, the Adidas Avavav collab I was talking to you about. You've got the Superstar modified clown boots, and then you've got the Moon Rubbers as well coming out alongside them. There's a couple of colorways of each model. Same day, May the 22nd, Little Yachty's Air Force One lows are coming out, I think alongside some select clothing items as well. Same day, May the 22nd, you've got Salehi Banberry's Crocs Juniper coming out in the apricots colorway. And then, bro, the same day I'm seeing here reports that the Swarovski Air Jordan 1 lows are coming out in the stealth colorway or the shadow colorway. Remember, that is the $1,000 Jordan 1 low. They're going to be very limited. Will they sell out? Yeah, probably. I think they'll make them that scarce, and the well-heeled, affluent people will be interested in the sparkle. Now, not to be outdone, you've also got probably the release of the week. I would argue one of the best retros of the entire year. Some of you guys might have already come up on exclusive access and or first come first serve via some select retailers. The Jordan 4 White Cements. May the 24th, big drop for sure. So another week of really cool releases. There are still one or two big bangers set to drop by the end of the month. So crazy times indeed. Are you guys looking to pick anything up? If so, feel free to let me know down below. And that is going to do us for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. Do me a favor and go and subscribe to my second channel if you are into all things golf. And I will see you guys very soon for my review, or my reviews, should I say, on both the Andrew Reynolds 933s and the Travis Scott Field Jacks in this Lesh blue colorway, man. These are two very cool shoes. So maybe I'll do like a double review and do both of them in the same episode for you guys. But I'll see you then, man. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and peace out.